Right now on WFTV tonight, a former volunteer accused of using his position of power to prey on children.
And because of his access to children, detectives believe strongly that they're victims.
What else we've learned tonight about the disturbing allegations. Plus, she caused her neighborhood to flood over and over again. Why she says she clogged a drain pipe with concrete, and the decision from the judge now bringing neighbors some relief. Then we're weeks away from the trial against the woman prosecutors say left her boyfriend to die in a suitcase.
Are you claiming self-defense?
Yes.
Well, that's the first time that I've heard that.
Judge, I just mentioned it a while ago.
The word self-defense never came out of your mouth.
Why her new attorney is switching strategies and claiming self-defense. Plus, a new kind of spacecraft on our coast. How you can take a trip up to see the stars for yourself.
So it's this incredibly gentle, safe, seamless flight.
This is WFTV Tonight.
And we begin tonight with a disturbing story out of Marion County. Deputies there say a former volunteer basketball coach committed heinous acts against children he was supposed to be helping, including molestation, exposing himself, and taking inappropriate pictures of the kids. Good evening, I'm Greg Wormuth.
I'm Martha Sagowski. Marion County deputies are still looking for more potential victims related to this sexual abuse. They say this man, Carl Lombardo, volunteered at the Boys and Girls Club, where they say he used his position to get closer to children. Channel 9's Daryl Matthews is in Ocala with more. There are just a few days left of summer, and as we count down to fall, will we stay warm and drier across Central Florida?
We do have some good news. Let's leave it up to Tom to give you that. Here's Certified Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry.
Yeah, we have back-to-back 93-degree days in Orlando, and I'm happy to say that as of today, the average high is below 90. All the way until the end of May next year. Thank you very much. Now, we'll still have some warm weather, and we'll be close to 90 tomorrow. But you probably noticed today we didn't get a lot of rain. We had a few storms in Brevard, southern parts of Osceola, but there's going to be a weak kind of a precursor to a front, a trough of low pressure. It kind of changes the winds, and that's about it. But the onshore breeze is going to make for a few passing showers, but overall some pretty darn nice weather starting tomorrow. But then we're not taking our eye off the ball. This is the American GFS model next Tuesday. So we skip past a nice weekend. We're all sitting here. And then here comes moisture coming in from the Caribbean. And this is the afternoon run of the American GFS, which is once again showing a potential hurricane central or eastern Gulf of Mexico. Earlier today, it was farther west. There's going to be lots of this back and forth, but just be aware, and we'll talk more about this in a minute, that we could have a lot to keep track of here in the next 5 to 8 days or so. Greg, back to you.
All right, Tom, thank you. We'll check back in soon. A Seminole County woman now has 10 days to fix the issue that caused this flooding. We first told you back in April that she poured concrete into a drainage pipe, which caused this Longwood neighborhood to flood every time it rains. And the flooding actually damaged some people's homes. Channel 9's Dick Pampantonis was at the hearing where the judge gave her that new deadline today.
An Orlando woman's latest legal team has some new strategies in mind as she stands accused of killing her boyfriend by zipping him up in. Investigators say Sarah Boone killed Jorge Torres back in 2020 during a drunken game of hide and seek. Well, today, her attorneys pushed for several motions, including one that would allow them to claim at trial that she suffered from battered spouse syndrome due to past domestic violence in a previous marriage. Her lawyers also plan to claim self-defense, taking the judge by surprise.
Are you claiming self-defense?
Yes.
Well, that's the first time that I've heard that.
Judge, I just mentioned it a while ago.
The word self-defense never came out of your mouth.
Prosecutors say they were also confused because she had previously claimed it was all an accident. The judge said he will issue a written ruling on this at a later date. Her trial is expected to start October 7th.
A man is now accused of shooting and killing his ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend. Seminole County deputies say they found Larry and Cosby dead inside an apartment complex last night. That apartment is on Sun Lake Circle near Lake Emma Road. Investigators say this man, Nathaniel Bratcher II, shot him. Deputies say he called his ex-girlfriend saying he was going to kill Cosby. The girlfriend tried to warn him but didn't get a hold of him. Investigators say they later found Bratcher riding in this white convertible Mustang about 8 miles away. He is scheduled to face a judge tomorrow afternoon. Nearly 20 stores in West Volusia County are being accused of selling alcohol to an underage buyer. Deputies say an undercover buyer, under 21 of course, purchased alcohol 18 times at different stores. This was part of a one-day operation at nearly 30 outlets in DeLand, DeBary, and Deltona. Each store accused of selling alcohol to that underage person was given a notice to appear in court.
A new fire station will soon be built in Daytona Beach to meet modern standards and better serve the community. The current building is on Beach Street on the Halifax River. Channel 9 Volusia County reporter Demi Johnson explains why it's time to make the move. Crews will break ground on the new station in December. The city hopes to have it all finished by 2026. Governor Ron DeSantis met with condo owners today in St. Petersburg. The owners are concerned about the cost and implementation of new legislation and are asking for an amendment to the regulations. The owners say they can't apply for state grants because they can't get a approval from their residents. Governor DeSantis says he may call a special session before the end of the year.
Mark your calendar that at some point over the next 3.5 months, something will be done.
This comes after new regulations following the Surfside collapse. It's left many owners unable to afford skyrocketing HOAs and insurance premiums. The deadline to meet those new requirements is December 31st.
Orange County leaders met today to discuss Disney's controversial affordable housing project. The Orange County Planning and Zoning Commission discussed the project during the meeting that you're seeing here this afternoon. Disney wants to build something like this, about 1,000 affordable homes off of Hartsog Road in Horizon West, a booming area. The company emphasized the benefits of this project to all, including a new shopping plaza and improved roads for all residents. However, many people still were upset about this.
This is adding 1,400 homes also onto a 2-lane road. That also has a school, access to our middle school and elementary school. Safety is a concern.
Those in the community already are worried about the new project's location in Horizon West, a rapidly growing upscale area, and the potential strain on public infrastructure. It is up to Orange County commissioners whether or not to sign off on this new project. Well, a local driver turned to Action 9 after she says her airbag exploded on its own while her truck was sitting in park.
The fact of the matter is that it blew a hole in the roof of the back seat.
Coming up next, what Action 9 uncovered about the airbag under recall and what the manufacturer offered to do after we got involved.
Sky Witness 9 on Channel 9 Eyewitness News, bringing you closer to the scene during live breaking news. Sponsored by attorney Dan Newland.
Every day on Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning, you'll get the latest major news. You promised to perp walk juveniles involved, and you did just that with an 11-year-old.
And I said enough's enough. So parents don't want to raise their children, I'll raise them for them.
A school bus driver in Brevard County accused of attacking a student is set to go before a judge.
We did just speak with the boy's father. He tells us he is going to press this issue to the fullest extent.
Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning.
Live weekdays starting at 4:30 a.m.
Take a look at this. The force of an airbag was so strong it blasted a hole through the roof of a pickup truck when it deployed. The truck's owner said this all happened when the truck was actually parked outside of their Volusia County home.
And they turned action on consumer investigator Jeff Deal when the truck maker refused to pay for the damage.
Stellantis is also urging customers to follow instructions on the recall notices and maintain communication with their dealers. After Action 9 went to Stellantis for answers, the company told us it will be offering the couple a discount on a new car or new truck.
New estimates show that our agricultural industry took a huge hit from Hurricane Debbie. Analysts from the University of Florida say the storm caused nearly 260 losses last month. That's about the same estimate Hurricane Idalia last year. One analyst says most of the affected land was grazing area for all the livestock.
We can see that the top commodity groups based on the regions that were impacted by this storm for agricultural losses are animals and animal products, greenhouse nursery products, and field and row crops.
It could take several years before the long-term impacts from Idalia and Debbie are understood.
At least they weren't Ian. That was like $110 billion. That
was a whopper.
So
My goodness. You know all that rain we got, like, I guess a week ago? I turned them off. Mine's completely dry now.
I had to turn mine on last night, yeah. We're getting into kind of that slower part of the wet season. I think the next couple days we're looking pretty good. And just for today, Today, I've been waiting since May the 25th to show you this graphic because as of today, the average high in Orlando has finally ticked below 90. Now, today we hit 93, so this is average, but it's significant because this is the first of, well, the rest of the year and in toward May of next year that we're going to be averaging below 90. A month from today, the dry season is pretty much here, or almost here. 84 is the average high, and then the cold fronts start in earnest. In fact, by the 19th of November, we're getting close to only 78 on an average day, and 40s returning at night for the first time. So, yeah, we're getting into the Tom Terry half of the year. Satellite and radar, mostly fair skies after some brief heavy downpours earlier today, and not a lot of rain tomorrow. Widely scattered showers. Breeze. Friday looks pretty good for Friday night football. Not quite as hot. Still warm, but not as hot. Saturday, widely scattered showers along the beach. A few traipsing their way inland. About a 30% chance for a shower for both days this upcoming weekend with that onshore breeze. Longwood and Lake Mary. This was a shot we took from the Little Wekiva back when we had all that heavy rain Greg was talking about. Now we're going to see just a slight chance for a passing shower in upper 80s to near 90 for tomorrow. But we're still primetime season out in the tropics right now, and this will be an area that we're going to be watching closely. There's nothing down here yet, but forecast models are still insistent that we will develop something by early next week. And the American GFS model has been very consistent for the most part about trying to bring something north by Wednesday, Thursday. It's been vacillating between the eastern and western Gulf of Mexico. And of course, I'm not surprised that tonight it's kind of trending back closer to us. But this is the GFS. This is next Wednesday. Low pressure developing here. The Euro's just starting on this over here, and this is still a possibility depending on all the other players, troughs and cold fronts and high pressure ridges, things like that that steer these systems. But just letting you know that by Wednesday, Thursday next week, we could have a developing hurricane somewhere in the central Gulf of Mexico, and this is something we're certainly going to be watching very closely. We are still in the prime time of hurricane season here in the third week of September. And the Gulf of Mexico, the Western Caribbean, incredibly warm. That's the fuel source for systems. 7-day forecast, weekend always in view. We will try to enjoy the relative solitude here. Fall begins officially Sunday morning after sunrise. And then our rain chances likely going up, especially if we get a system forming. We'll keep you advised. Greg.
All right, Tom. Space tourism taking a big leap forward today. Coming up, how you can do some real sightseeing in outer space.
Download the WFTV weather app. Get a localized forecast from Tom Terry. Just search WFTV. Brought to you by the Law Offices of Attorney Dan Newland.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now, 407-888-8000.
A Space Coast company plans to carry tourists in a crew capsule 100,000 feet above Earth with that, I pointed right to it, with this space balloon.
I'm not sure you...
I can't do that.
You get that now. Space Perspective just completed a successful flight test, and today the company's spaceship Neptune cruised into Port Canaveral aboard the MS Voyager. Our Melanie Holt has more now from Port Canaveral.
All right, Mel, the FAA will be regulating Neptune's flights. A seat aboard a future flight, we saved the best for last, $125,000. 1,800 tickets have already been sold at that price. Well, don't go anywhere. Tom is back with a look at your wake-up weather as we turn the corner on the 90s. JetBlue is introducing its first airport lounges. One at JFK will open first sometime late next year, followed soon after by a lounge at Boston Logan International Airport. It's part of JetBlue's push to meet demand for premium offerings, an initiative it's calling Jet Forward. Both lounges will have complimentary food and drinks and free Wi-Fi in an effort to avoid overcrowding. Access will be limited mostly to premium credit card members. JetBlue currently flies out of Terminal C at Orlando International Airport.
Walt Disney World specialty license plates have raised more than $3 million for Make-A-Wish in Florida. The funds help children facing critical illnesses and their families with wish trips. Here's some of those wishes that have been granted so far. Meet Vila. She wished to visit to Walt Disney World. Samaya wanted a camper to travel the world in. And Ashlyn, who dreamed of a bedroom makeover. Disney says 100% of the proceeds from plate sales go directly to the organization.
SeaWorld unveiled this footage teasing a new ride they say is the first of its kind. The attraction is called the Arctic Flying Theater. The park says custom filming equipment was made just for this project. It will send riders to some of the most remote parts of the Arctic. This new ride is set to open next spring. Not very often you can go to the Arctic and wear shorts and a t-shirt.
And flip-flops.
That's right. Well, my dad texted me from Fort Worth and said that, yeah, penguins are like in the southern hemisphere. And I said, well, they're always at SeaWorld.
That's
so
right.
There you go. You can get everything right here in Florida. You don't even have to travel. We've got 70s in the morning. We have 90 for high tomorrow, but a great stretch of weather overall heading into the start of fall, which is going to be Sunday morning. Next week, a dry start, but really going to have to keep an eye on the tropics. I'm hoping that we can keep all this tropical talk well west of Florida, but the Gulf is going to be wide open for business. Keep an eye on this.
Yeah, the water's warm. All right, thank you, Tom, and thank you for staying up with us. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Good night, Dad.
Watch Eyewitness News from any device with Eyewitness News Livestream. Sponsored by the law firm of Bogan, Munz & Munz. No gimmicks, just results.